It's time to go back a few years. It's April 2020, the height of lockdown. Seriously, when I recorded this particular video that you're watching, it had been about a month since lockdown was declared in the UK, and everyone was playing their online games. By this point, I had been playing Forza Horizon 4 for about 2 months, but there was someone in this particular race with the fail race versus the community Group 2 crew that had only really just started. And if you look in that, leaderboard, you'll see someone by the name of Noobster 9919. This was the first ever time I raced against Noobster, and it was only his third Group 2 appearance. I think at the time Group 2 was so popular, due to, lockdown and all that there was at least 2 separate Group 2 lobbies. That's just how it was. And for the first 2 weeks that Noobster was taking part, he was in the secondary lobbies, or maybe I was the secondary lobby. One way or the other, we didn't meet until the third time he took part. I believe April 24th, 2020, when this particular race was recorded. It would have been a Tuesday? No, a Thursday. It was Thursdays back then. And Noobster was not a quick driver. I mean, he's doing alright in this race, he's 4th. But it didn't end that way. He was actually fairly slow when I first started racing him, and that coloured my perception of him for years. I always thought of him as a slow driver, even when he inevitably, I suppose, became faster than me. This is footage from Noobster's own YouTube channel, where he is setting what I believe is still the current world record time in C-Class around the La Selva Scramble. This particular Reliant Regal Supervan tune is available on the on his tune front. I can't remember what the game calls it. But yeah, if you find it, you can, if you search Noobster under the Reliant Regal Supervan, you can find this tune, and trust me, it is absolutely mental. This guy went from being unable to tune cars. Sounds a bit like me, even today, but he went from being unable to tune cars to knowing exactly how to tune them, to the point that he was a world record holder. Even when he was a world record holder, I thought he was slow. I just couldn't lose the perception that he was slow. And now I know he wasn't. I know it says 9th on the screen there, but trust me, everyone ahead of him is a cheater. Noobster is without a doubt one of the fastest drivers on Forza Horizon 5, and certainly the fastest around the Baja circuit. That was his favourite track from what I'm told. He aced that, and I believe he still holds the world record there on multiple classes: D-Class, C-Class, B-Class, and A-Class. And his most recent world record, I think, was the A-Class time in the Jeep CJ5. Something like a 1 minute 1 second. I can't remember the time. He probably recorded it. He just never got round to uploading it to his YouTube channel, and he never will. There may be those out there who still don't know that on April 16th, 2025, Noobster 9919, otherwise known by his real name Brandon Ahring, passed away in a car accident. It's ironic, almost. One of the fastest drivers on a racing game, and in real life, he dies in a car. Quite likely his beloved 1999 Ford Ranger. That thing was older than him and he loved it to pieces. It was his profile picture and almost everything he used. Not to mention his obscene love of Christmas. We would always mock him for that. It would be February, and he would turn up to a Versus the Community event with his car decked out in holly, jingle bells, Christmas trees. Noobster, it's February, please, it's not Christmas anymore. I think he would always say something like, it's always Christmas. And this guy, I've said I said a lot of things in my live streams that I made the other day. I guess I just didn't say enough. Noobster, I wish I knew him better. I wish I'd spoken to him more. I wish I'd been closer. Would've, could've, should've, didn't. But even then, even though we were not, I suppose, the closest of friends, he was still willing to help me with a personal project of mine, which I uploaded onto my channel as my last cruise with Noobster, where I was trying to film a car chase between a Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta Lusso and an AMG Hammer. And that footage was recorded on the 25th of August 2023. I'm pretty bloody sure that was the last time I ever got to drive with Noobster in Horizon 5. I knew he was always quite busy. Like, that's the one thing that kept us from being able to complete that project, and he's gone now. He can't help me complete it. But he always seemed so stoked to even try to help out. He was looking forward to completing that. He was stoked. I can't think of any other words. He didn't have a bad bone in his body. I've heard very few negative things about him, and the only negative things I have seen said about him has been from someone who's completely delusional and thinks he's a sock puppet. So, I'm saying this now because I'm a lot more composed than I was in my previous videos. Like, I think I'm at the acceptance stage of grief now. I've accepted that he's gone. That I've lost a friend, a good friend, a friend that I wish I was closer to, who I'll never be able to speak to again. And yet, in a way, he's never truly gone. I'm still able to race against him, in a way. His drivatar will appear in Horizon 5 still, and Forza Motorsport 8, as it did in this particular race. And, well, it has been appearing in almost every single career race in motorsport that I do, and in that strange little way, I'm still kind of able to race against him, even if it's just a robot with his name on it. The only real way I can ever truly race against him would be going into rivals and trying to beat his ghost, which I'm never gonna do. He, like you saw in that clip in the Regal Supervan, he was doing tens of laps to try and beat these times, and I just don't have that kind of patience on these games. Very rarely have I gone out of my way to try and beat a time on time trial of any game. and I'm always going to be behind him. Maybe that's okay. We all have our own skill levels, and his skill level was to practice until he became so good he made someone who started before him look like an amateur all the time. I mean, look at me. I'm still using the racing line. I can't judge the right time when to stop. I guess I'm just too used to playing Need for Speed. There's one last thing about this whole situation that saddens me, and that when Horizon 6 comes out, I don't think his name's going to appear much. There was another Forza player that I put on my friends list a while back, when Horizon 4 was still the game to play. Someone called Ryujix, or Ryujix, made this cool skin on Horizon 3 that I saw once during the brief period of time I played Horizon 3. But it seems that all activity on that person's account has stopped, and there's no way to tell what happened to that person. Maybe they just gave up on things, stopped playing games, or maybe the same thing happened to them as with the Noobster. There's no way to know. But that person's gamer tag always kept appearing in my Horizon 4 races. Always, without fail. And then Horizon 5 comes along and it started sort of randomizing names from your crew. And Ryujix stopped showing up, which saddened me. And I can't help but feel the same thing is going to happen to Noobster when Horizon 6 comes out. His name is going to be very rare to see in Horizon 6. If we see it at all. And I don't want that to be the case. And yet, I think that's going to be what happens in the end. Noobster was too significant to be forgotten, and yet, as callous as it sounds, people die all the time, and not every one of them gets a memorial in their favourite game. I would like it if Turn 10 or Playground memorialised him in some way, but it probably won't happen. And this video probably won't ever gain the traction. But I think that Noobster deserves to be remembered. Without a doubt, he deserves to be remembered. And I'm going to do my best to remember him for as long as I can. He deserves that much. I already said what I considered my final goodbye, so I'm going to keep this brief. It was an absolute pleasure knowing Noobster for the short time that he was in my life. I always tried to be better than him. I always tried to match him, and the times that we were genuinely racing each other were good times. And I'm gonna miss those times. He was my friend. And I hope he saw me as his friend too. The world is a worse place without him. I promise this is the last time I'll say it. Noobster, Bradon, race in peace, my friend. Goodbye.